I guess we can stand for 6 o'clock, so stand for the pledge, I guess. Ready? Nate, would you say it?
Sure.
I think Nate's.
Sure. I
Pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
of
the
the
United
United States
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
It's kind of spotty.
Okay, Paul will be late because of work, and Peg has something they'll be in later. Okay, put that in the minutes, please. Okay, I'm alone. Emily, you got a baby. Nathan,
I'm alone.
Earl,
Michelle and Lucy are in the other part of the house.
I still got Melissa.
I'm alone.
Okay, thank you. I guess that's it. The first thing is,
I'm alone.
what's that?
I said
Oh,
I'm alone.
I know you're alone. Nate said you were. Okay, we have received an anonymous donation of a plow truck valued at $8,500. So as a board, it's beyond the limit and the board has to approve to accept it. So I need a motion and a second to accept the plow truck as an anonymous donation for $8,500.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Okay, do I have any discussion? Douglas, aye.
Aye.
And Melissa?
Aye.
Okay,
Did we do the public meeting already?
we just did it.
That's what that was.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I thought it was special ed. Never mind.
No,
No.
okay. Okay. Wait a minute. All right. The next thing will be a couple of minutes here for some people to join us. Earl, why don't we go to you? While we're waiting?
Okay. Thank you. During the course of the beginning of the year, things have gone off to a great start, despite what is going on throughout the world at the time. And one of the things has been that the hybrid has worked very well for us. At this point, what I'd like to do is go around and have the administrative team reflect upon how the school year has begun. And with that, Rob Qua will begin for us.
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. So yeah, Earl's right. The hybrid model is actually going really well for us. It's even providing us some opportunities and advantages that we may not have had otherwise. We're getting to see kids in real small groups, which is great. Students are able to get a lot of individual attention, not only students with disabilities from their special educators and case managers, but that's probably true or is true all across the board with class sizes being so much smaller. So there's some really valuable time, really valuable work being done in those smaller groups. We've been able to have productive conversations with lots and lots of families, putting individualized plans together to support and to honor all the IEPs in the district. We're working with students for extra time in person, either Monday through Thursday for 2-hour blocks, or for longer periods of time on Friday. We're setting and keeping remote appointments, which I think helps students out a lot. If something happens and we do have to go fully remote again, a big priority for all of us is to try to make sure the students are a little more prepared for it, especially those students who struggled. If we can develop those habits now, that'll really benefit them if that happens. And then we've got, any combination of those things. We've got students who are receiving remote services from a teacher who's remote while they're in school. We have students, getting who are at home, who are receiving specialized instruction from case managers who are in the building. We're really able to be very flexible to meet students where they're at and to ensure that they continue to make progress through this time. So yeah, like I said, those conversations that we were having with families, part of that was Governor's Order number 48. When that got issued, I thought it was going to be impossible. But once again, our case managers are doing the impossible. We're going to go ahead. We're going to, follow that order to the letter and get all those meetings done, which is great. And they have been really valuable conversations to bring the families in and help everybody understand our plan and work with us to develop our plan so that it works for their individual student or students. We continue to be keeping on time with compliance and IEP timelines and things like that. Even with all these extra meetings going on, we are, conducting our evaluations in a timely manner. We're getting IEPs renewed. So that all is going really well. Overall, there's still details being worked out. Everything's not perfect. But I feel like we're making this hybrid really work for us, which is great. I think students are well supported. Students are going to be well prepared, and students are going to get what they need. And that, again, goes to our staff, our case managers, and our paraprofessionals who do incredible work every single day. And we're really, really lucky to have them.
Thank you, Carl. Anybody else want to ask him anything? Okay.
I
Earl?
think that his staff has done a great job in terms of the extra time, so that when you think of the hybrid, you think of the students spending face-to-face time, half of it, but those students that are needing the help come in way beyond the half time. And he's done a phenomenal job with the staff in prescriptive ways. And actually, instead of being manipulated by the system and what has occurred, he has used the system to get the help for the kids in smaller groups, in one-on-one, and he's effectively used Zoom. Sometimes it's very hard to have IEP meetings. I've known that through the years. One time when I was in charge of a high school way back in the old days, I was chair of CSE, which was the role that Rob had. But it was very difficult to get people at times to meet for their IEPs. So he has effectively used Zoom and incorporated them in there. So in many ways, he's been creative, and his staff has been creative in affording students more time and parents being more actively involved than they would had we not been in this era. At this point, we're going to now go to MES, and John Safina will give you a roadmap into his staff's beginning of the year. John?
You there? He was there.
He's on mute.
So, I'm sure you all like it that way. Anyway, staff and students have adapted very well. And it's been a really smooth opening, smoother than I thought, knock wood. You know, we want to, hopefully it continues that way. You know, I've had many conversations with parents that had questions or concerns, and those conversations have gone well. We have many options that have opened for students, including one that wasn't necessarily part of our original plan, but we had some students that just went home, just decided to be homeschooled. And what we've opened up is what was kind of called, I call it like they're auditing a class, like you would do in a college class. So what they do is they are, you know, because homeschool students are eligible for any kind of services. They can come in and take classes, they can do whatever. So what we've offered is it kind of like they're part of our remote only group. They're not in Power School. They are listed at the SAU as homeschool, but we keep them on in our homeschool, in our remote classes. So parents have the option whether they want the kids to engage fully in the remote learning that we're doing or take bits and pieces. They already have access to the online curriculums and so forth. So that's been a real positive. We have a few students that are doing that audit model. So that's been working out well. We also have the masks have not been an issue at all for kids. It's really been amazing how well they've adapted to the protocols. I was watching them on at recess. They were playing, they were together, but they were masked. No issues. Nobody was trying to take it off. Nobody was trying to sneak it off. They were very good about that. So that hasn't been a problem. They've really adapted. I remember the first day of school, I would say, put your arms out in front of you to keep that much distance from someone when you're in line. And we had a fire drill the other day, and I was watching students exit the classroom, and they had their hands up, and they were keeping that distance. So it's like they're so quickly adapting. I was really, really pleased. Even some of our students that have significant needs that we thought would not be able to wear a mask are wearing masks. So we have 100% compliance with that, which is really good. The safety precautions are all working. We did have students that were sent home, about 9 students, and about, I think, 4 or 5 of those tests have already come back as negative. We do take those precautions that if a child has an unexplained symptom like a runny nose, children don't have runny noses, right? But you know, none of them have had fevers, but we've had to make sure that, you know, if it is one of the symptoms and it's unexplained, like if they have an allergy, we know that's why they have a runny nose. But what we've done is we've sent them home, we followed the protocol, and people have gone to get tests, or they would take the 10-day break or whatever the protocol is, but all the tests have come back negative. Even one staff member did take a test, and that came back negative. So everything's been really good with that. So as far as the education's going, we have our best, like I said, there's no best practices. I did send out a purple page, I don't know if you got to see that one of the first weeks, where I said we don't have best practices in place for hybrid remote learning and all that. There's nothing been established because best practices have to be researched and they have to be tested. So this is new for everyone. And but you can embed best practices within a new model. And I think one of the best practices we have is the small group instruction. And it's really amazing to go from room to room to watch the kids behind the shields, but interacting with each other in small group, and the attention the teachers are able to give them they're going to get more out of the 2.5 days, or just as much out of the 2.5 days that they would 5 days. So I'm not worried at this point about them and about their learning. I think that it's going to be very helpful, and that if they are falling behind, they come in with only 6 to 10 kids in the classroom, the amount of interventions they could do for those kids would be amazing. So, you know, it's that whole quality of instruction versus seat time. So I think that it's gone very well for them. So I think that's all I have right now.
I have a question for John.
Yes,
How long is it taking to get your test back for COVID-19?
depends where they go. Sometimes it usually takes like 3 days,
3 days?
4 days.
3 to 4, okay. Anybody else have anything for John? Okay, thank you.
Peg, go ahead, Peg had her hand up, but she's muted. You're muted.
Thank you. I just want to comment on what John said about the kids really learning probably more in 2.5 days, because when I was teaching Title I math, I had very small groups, and it was the same thing. You can spend more time with a small group of kids and get them going on something, and then move on to another group that's struggling with something. So I was very happy to hear that, John. So thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Earl.
That's really, as they said, that's one of the strengths in small group, and that's also a strength of the hybrid. As we've talked about, many of the schools have changed what they were going to do, the model that they were going to do, and they've gone back and forth and so forth. And I think the strength of what we've done through the teamwork of the board and the administration and the staff and the parents has been that we have stayed within the model that we've had. And at every point, whether it was with Rob Quaz students or with the MES students or the middle high school students, we have maximized ourselves within the system that we've had. We've stayed the course, we've tried to perfect it and do the most for each of the students within that. So I think that was well put. I think that the small groups and staying within the cohort has really helped a great deal. So at this point, let's work ourselves up and go with Jan and Jen to the middle and Newt, middle school and Newt. Okay, Jan, you can take over.
Our cohorts have fairly balanced out. Right now we have 96 students in purple and 98 in gold. We've had a couple of kids who started in school and then decided to go remote. We've had other students who started remote and decided no, they wanted to go in.
Time to get a cookie.
We're primarily doing that, having the deadline as last week, so that teachers could have their classes set. So right now we have 47 students remote. That's 18.6%, which is kind of what we had generally planned on. We're in, really, it's only the second full week of school. It seems like we've been doing this forever, but it's only the second full week. We did survey the staff to ask them kind of what's gone well with the opening and what are they still struggling or need help with. Pretty unanimously, they all said they're really pleased with how the students have acted. They're following our protocols. They said they're so excited to be back and see each other again that they're just really following along with everything we want them to do. They also, like John has said, the class sizes they're finding are very helpful. They feel like they got to know their students in 2 days better than they've gotten to know them in 2 months. Just because of the smaller classes, they were able to reach out and talk with them already. They said the classes just feel calmer. And yes, they agree. They've been able to get through a great deal of their curriculum, even though they're only seeing them 2.5 days a week. They also were grateful. They said it really feels like we've put a lot of time, detail, and care into everybody's safety. And they thought it was very nice to finally see people again. Things that they're still struggling with is balancing the in-school versus the remote students. So how they're preparing the lessons for kids that are in the class is different than how they're preparing their lessons for kids who are fully remote. So they're still struggling a little bit, trying to balance the time, do a good job with both of them. I think that's really the biggie. That was the biggest one. And then basically they leave the end of the day feeling exhausted. So that's kind of the thing we're trying to work with right now, is everybody is trying to be perfect and try to get everything done. So they just leave the end of the day exhausted. They'd like a little bit more work with Google Classroom, Zoom, and Google Meet. So we'll be scheduling some time with that. And then it's just time, trying to get everything done. But overall, other than the feeling stressed and exhausted, they're really happy with the protocols that have been put in place and how the students are following them. I do want to give a big thank you to Lisa. I'm not sure if I'm going to say her name right. Gautreau, G-A-U-T-R-E-A-U. She made packages for all of the staff members to thank them for all the work that they did over this summer, preparing, both helping students over the summer and preparing for this fall. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to her. Those were kind of nice for our staff to get. For us, the nurse, we've had 3 students tested, again, all negative, and 1 staff member tested, also negative. It's primarily taking 1 to 2 days for the test results to come back, and again, it depends on where they go.
Anybody? Paul?
Hey, how are you all? So, you can hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah?
Okay, so word of the wise, when you're a minute and a half from joining a meeting, make sure your laptop's plugged in or it will shut off before you, and then it takes you 2.5 hours to start again. Anyway, so talking to a couple other districts, for instance, I think it's Kingswood. They do cohorts as well. They do Monday and Tuesday, the same group, Wednesday to clean, Thursday and Friday, the other group. What benefits do you see over flip-flopping every other day versus grouping students together for 2 days, having a full day to clean? Is it a lot more cleaning time, switching groups and having new kids every other day, or is it working better this way? I just want to get your opinion on it, because I've had a couple parents ask me, you know, that my wife's friend their kids go to Kingswood. They're like, yeah, we go Monday, Tuesday. They fully clean the building on Wednesday. Then the other group goes Thursday, Friday. So they don't mix except for once a week. What have we thought about doing a Monday, Tuesday / Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or is it really working this way?
Yep, I'll let Bob talk about the cleaning, but we looked at that model as well and discussed it. The concern we had with kids coming Monday, Tuesday, and then you don't see them again until the following Monday. So that was part of the concern with instruction is I'm going to have kids with me for 2 days and then I don't see them for a week. And they thought the alternate day would be better for keeping in touch with them. We did discuss, is Wednesday the day that we have, you know, fewer kids in the building for cleaning versus Friday. I think what Bob's guys have been doing is awesome anyway, but Bob, if you want to talk some about what you guys are doing on a nightly basis.
I think that, as Jan said, Paul, we did look at that, but some of the one of the main things, as we all know, and some of you could speak to that, having kids in school and all that, but some students don't do well as far as remote. And to keep them away for 5 days would really hurt them more. So they need that face-to-face. So on the behalf of how students learn and taking into consideration the number of students that don't do as well with the remote, we thought that that contact was very important. But among them, there were many models and many alterations of the hybrid. So that's why basically when I spoke to the fact that we've stayed with the same model, within the hybrid itself, there's different hybrids. That's one of the ones, as Paul said. But Bob can speak a little bit to having
Wait a minute.
Can I just put
I think Emily wanted to speak. Emily? Hand up.
I just wanted to say from a mom perspective with 5 remote learners, I like the every other day too, because it breaks it up for the kids in a really nice way, and for the parent who might want to kill them, for them to go the next day. And it keeps the accountability there, which I think helps my kids get their work done.
So just to quickly dovetail what Jan was saying, the models we looked at what was in the best interest of our kids, what we felt was in the best interest of our kids. And as I've said, there really is no best practice. So we don't know which model is better than the other. So that's our model may turn out to be the best, or, you know, so we're doing what we think is best for our kids. And we, like I said, we looked at all the models.
Bob Adams?
To answer Paul's question, we're able to clean and do the same amount of work all 5 days of the week because We have help from the staff cleaning on the fly during the day. And in addition, in the middle school and the high school, we have students cleaning their workstations before they use them. So that really helps out and allows us to do a lot of detailed cleaning every single day. Yep, so I do want to add to the cafe services is cleaning the cafeteria. So that's not part of, what we need to do each day. So it works out very well being able to thoroughly clean 5 days a week.
And I'm asking this just because people ask. So it's good that we put it out here in this forum, ask the questions, answer the questions, so they get kind of a full gamut of why we're doing what we're doing. So I kind of know, but I just want to make sure everybody else does that listens to this. So thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, and I heard this week, and I didn't know this, but Newt's actually being talked about in other areas of the state for our plan. So there are other schools that are very impressed with our plan and everything we've done, and we're actually getting kudos in other parts of the state for having the plan that we do.
Yeah, I heard that too, Jan, today. So.
Okay.
Good for Milton.
All right, Earl?
Yeah, I actually think that a year or two down the line, as long as we keep progressing the way we are, there's a good possibility that through this, there assuredly will be gaps and so forth. But I think that in lieu of the times that we're in, I think it'll prove out in a year or two when these tests come out. I think our kids, and I know in the past, MES and new students have not tested out as well as all of us would have hoped. But I think that, not that you want to gain on other schools, you compare your students to themselves and ourselves to ourselves, but I think you're going to find that in comparison, we will have progressed much more in lieu of the schools because we've stayed the course. Okay, is there more folks want?
I just had one thing for you to think about, maybe for the next board meeting, but I know we weren't going to do any ELOs this fall, and there's a student who's working currently at a business, and he was wondering if he could create an ELO for his workplace. So he's already going there. This wouldn't be a new place he's going, but to design a learning plan for him at this place of business. So that's something we can discuss next time.
Was Jen next, Earl?
No, actually, Jan and Jen, you're right, Doug. Want to talk a little bit about the teams, the sports teams bit? Jan, that's been a real thing that folks have talked about, not only at our school, but statewide and throughout, in all around.
Yep. So we have the middle school, high school soccer team. They do all wear their masks when they are not on the field playing. They do take them off when they're running or playing. We are coordinating because some of our students also play in the town rec teams, which then they're out playing other teams through rec. So we've kind of worked out a system between our rec department and other towns' rec departments just to keep us informed if there's any positive or suspected cases on their teams as well, which came into play this weekend. Our high school team, they're wearing their masks throughout the game. We are one of the few schools doing that. Most of the other schools, they're keeping masks on while they're on the bench, but when they're on the court, they're able to take them on or take them off or leave them on their discretion. But we've informed all the teams that are coming to play us that we are requiring them to keep their masks on the whole time they're there, even when they're playing on the court. We had a narrow loss to Farmington tonight. Usually games are over in 3 games, and it went to 5 games, and we lost it at the end. But volleyball did a great job. They have another game tonight.
Earl? Oh, Peg?
Jan, thank you for making the kids keep their masks on. I mean, I appreciate it, and I'm sure parents do too. It's going to be a little bit tougher running with one, but you know what? Better
Yeah,
safe.
they don't do a lot of running on the volleyball court, so it's okay. We also have a fan limit for the inside games. There's 3 fans per player, so, and they give us which guests are coming for them. We have a game manager. We have 2 game managers right now working, one that's inside working with the officials and the teams, and one at the door that is screening people as they come in, making sure they use the thermal scanner, making sure they have a mask on, use hand sanitizer, and basically taking attendance. So from the fan list that we have, checking who's checking in, and then they're, you know, or socially distanced while they're in the bleachers. We're not allowing any away team fans in the gym at this time. For soccer games, because it's outside, they can have away fans, but for our in the gym games right now, there are no away fans.
Thank you.
Earl?
Okay, Jen? Jen?
Jen?
Sorry, I just had to unmute. Takes a minute. So I'm doing the technology update. At this time, we began with sending out computers for remote students only since they needed the computer most. Then we focused in on the hybrid. We sent out a survey determining if they had computers at home, if they had no devices, and then we really prioritized to the students who needed devices, and then kind of sent them out in phases. So we have already sent out 2 rounds. We're going to send out another one, and we're just continuing to wait on those who haven't filled out technology request forms so we can keep working on them, and hope to have the rest of the computers out within the week that they need. If parents indicated that they have home computers, they will have a computer to work on while in the building. So we are making sure that those classrooms are set up to have those. We've gone through all the rosters to make sure. If families are sharing a desktop at home and are communicating with where they're actively communicating with individual schools, so that we can make sure that's being addressed, and as soon as we hear about it, to make sure that everyone at home can have access to a computer as soon as possible. The Chromebooks continue to have a ship and arrival date that is promising, then changes, unfortunately. So we're continuing to work on that. But in the meantime, we were able to secure some additional computers that are not Chromebooks for staff to help the adults support the remote students and the students while they're on their home days. So we're able to kind of get a few computers to support that aspect of it.
Question, Jen.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we originally ordered 420 Chromebooks, is that correct?
411, I believe.
411, okay. Where you've gotten computers, will that number change, or we gotta still get 411?
We're still gonna get 411. So the computers, the Chromebooks we ordered are for students. We ordered some more for staff, because originally the ones that we are now sending out for with students to kind of Band-Aid in the middle, those were going to go to staff to support the students. So we got new computers that are nice to be able to support those students, so that the paras and staff that didn't have computers aren't also waiting at this time. If we change our number too, we don't want to change our number, because then we go back at the bottom of the list for ordering, and we don't want to do that.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Question for her? Do you have anything else? Go ahead.
John has an update about his school too for technology.
Yeah, for technology, we have been sending out, we've made sure all of our fully remote students were set at first. More registrations were coming in, and they were coming in as remote students. So we wanted to make sure they were all set. So we started sending out the Chromebooks that we have for hybrid students based on the survey, based on need. We sent out some yesterday, some today. I have more going out tomorrow. We have some Lenovo laptops that we're going to send home to families. And then we'll just do another needs assessment after that and see where we're at. But the teachers have been not trying to be too heavily focused on technology for our hybrid kids, because they know that they were getting them later. I know that, like, for example, Melissa Dorsey and Emily Baker, our librarian, was talking about how they can do things on an iPhone. They could, you know, if they have parents have a smartphone, they could get music from there, and there are things they could do with other types. They have, if they have a video game, if they have like an Xbox or a PlayStation, they're coming up with ways for the kids to be able to use that to access some of the things that they're doing, you know, especially for music and the creative arts and so forth. Anna Dady, our new art teacher, sent home art kits to all the students so that's more hands-on for them, that they have that there. So we're building up for our technology more and more.
I have a question for John. Jan made a comment about the staff was pleased about what we've done with PPE equipment and et cetera. Are you getting that same feeling from MES?
Yes.
Doing
They're
a good
very
job.
happy. They're all on board. They were part of this planning. You know, they weren't surprised. So they were part of the planning from the beginning for both the whole district wide. We did this. So I think that really everybody came back and was very happy.
Now you're talking about the reopening plan?
Yeah, they were all part of the plan. They all knew what was coming. They weren't surprised on the first day. So this was a very inclusive plan. And I think that everybody was very pleased with what we've done.
No, Jan, you said the middle school and the high school had the same feeling. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was pretty well across the board when we had them give us feedback. The things they were pleased with was pretty much everyone.
Because I thought we as a community have done a lot more than some communities have done.
Absolutely.
Way and above beyond the call. And that's our job. Okay. Jen, did you have anything else?
Unless there's any more questions for me.
Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, I do have one more thing.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I want to emphasize how hard Back Bay has worked for us. I think that's really important to note. You know, we only contract for them part-time, and I think that I've seen them a lot more days. They have really balanced between the two schools, running around, you know, really accommodating all that we're doing. And I just think it's really important to emphasize the work that Brandon has done to try and push these out as quickly as we can. The amount that he has gotten out in just 2 short weeks with the surveys coming in, and they're kind of coming in slowly, and he's just trying to get them out as quickly as possible. So I just want to really emphasize that and the communication they've been giving with, you know, all administration around the board.
I think with all the staff and everybody that's in the staff and these people, I think they've the ones that have made this program run real well. So the kudos goes out to everybody. Okay. Jan?
So I had a new technology piece, but Jen kind of stole my thunder. But I feel like Jen has been doing a super job of prioritizing who needed the computers first, trying to get one in every household. So we don't have one per student, but we're trying to at least have some device in every household for them to use at home. And I'm going to, you know, reiterate that Brandon has done a ton of work bouncing between buildings. The Chromebooks were pretty easy to get out because they're ready to go, but the Lenovo's, he's had to touch and re-image every single device so that they will work outside of our building, because otherwise they don't. So he's had to re-image every computer, you know, one by one as they go out. And again, I think he's done a great job of trying to keep up with what we've asked him to do.
Tammy?
Yeah, I also wanted to reiterate, thank you, Jen, for everything. I mean, we've had a few snags, and she's been there for me and Cameron as well.
Okay. All right. Earl, I guess it's back to you.
I think that is the key thing in each of those 10 strands we went over the models. Each of them has had a life of its own. An extraordinary time is put in, and just like in life, there's been some ruts in the road, but everyone has worked 10 times as hard when there has been a rut in the road and worked hard to correct that. And the questions that Doug asked leads us into Bob, because Bob has been the spearhead of the task force regarding the PPEs. So Bob, we'll turn it over to you. Adams.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as you've heard in our conversations tonight, you've heard both the masks, social distancing, of course, all the shields. All of that work started, for those that don't know, all the way back, you know, late March, early April, on trying to procure, you know, all of what we needed. We had a summer school that were able to pilot our needs as well as our procedures to get ready to open in a hybrid mode. And so all of us working together and learning together, all of that's gone very well. So kudos to all the staff adopting all of what needs to happen in order to keep the building cleaner during the day. What I wanted to say is typically the kind of cleaning that gets done now in the building is one that usually ends up getting done when there's some incident, you know, where you have to do a massive cleaning all the time. So coming off of summer, having to clean everything, it's like as long as you keep your space clean during the day, then we're always in good shape. So the on-the-fly cleaning during the day by everyone helping leads to being able to do the deep cleaning at nighttime and be able to disinfect the whole, you know, both the buildings very well. So all working together makes it a lot easier. So I have a full staff at this point in time, and we already in the first, you know, week and a half here of, you know, had, you know, cases where you're going to have somebody out. So the staff has in the evening needed to flex in order to get the work done, and we've accomplished that. And I do want to reiterate to those that are listening and pass on to your friends, we do need additional help in custodial services for the winter time, because once we start tracking in the winter weather, you know, that impacts the building. People on the staff get sick too, and when we get shorthanded, we're going to need help. So we do have a open position for a long-term sub, and definitely need some help right now. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. Do you give an update on the air handler, please?
I can now, or I can give that in the facilities report out, Doug, your choice.
I'll wait.
Okay.
Anything else? Moving on. Earl, you have anybody else to talk?
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to the minutes for 9/9/20. Remote public hearing for September 9th, 2020.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the minutes with some minor corrections. Most of them were grammatical, but I moved one comment that I actually made in the meeting. On the second page, it was the grant income question that I had for Nathan, and it was under the revenue report. So I just moved it down to the grant report review. Oh, and then on the last page, the voting, or page 4, the voting results of yes, 416, no, 318, I added that was for the teacher's contract.
I'll second.
Okay. Let me write that down though.
It's a very long motion, so you're gonna have that second. There's a lot of Peg did a long motion.
I say aye. Peg?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
I think Melissa was excused. Is that, no, Emily was excused. I'm sorry. Is that correct?
Melissa left.
No, Emily was excused from that meeting.
Oh,
that one, sorry, yeah. Abstain.
Okay, so that was 3-0. Okay. Next one.
If I can just reply to Paul's comment, based on the 91A meeting that we had, we have to talk about any changes that were made to any minutes. So that's why I do it now.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
And thankfully, they weren't any longer than that, huh?
Yeah.
all right. I'm used to. We're all used to Peg now. It's okay.
I know. I'm a pain in the neck, but you know, I will make a motion to approve the non-public meetings of September 9th with no changes or corrections.
I'll second that.
Anybody else? Aye.
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 Paul? Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. 4A, be the second reading for the EFAA. It's the second reading, and it's for the school lunch program meal charges.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is probably for Nate. Just want to make sure we're right. The big bold part about the delinquent debt. Is the end of the fiscal year July 31st? Should be June 31st, right?
Right, but I
June
closed
30th?
the books. Our accounting software officially closes on July 31st.
Okay, I just read it says it closes the fiscal year on July. Doesn't our fiscal year officially close June 30th though? Should we kind of fix that? Because our fiscal always goes July 1st to January 30th, June 30th, correct?
Well, the way it's supposed to be read is when the office officially closes the prior year's
I
fiscal
see.
year.
I see. Okay, so by the 31st, you close the fiscal year.
Right.
Okay.
You're right. The fiscal year does run until June 30th.
Okay, I get it now. Sorry. I can't even get my laptop to run. Give me a break, people.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. What is
Second?
it, EFAA?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Emily?
Aye.
Aye. Peg?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay. Done.
Earl, is that Lily?
That's Lucy at the back.
Lucy. Okay.
Okay, 4B, I guess we're gonna stay the way we are for now. With Zoom and, we're not gonna change anything.
Okay.
So I put that on there, but I guess. Now, the other one is 4C. Are the department heads working on their budgets and how are we looking? Nate?
You're
Nate?
muted, Nate.
Can't hear you. Yeah, you're not muted either, but we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Nate. Yeah.
Get a whiteboard and one of those markers.
Well, if you can't hear him, I know what he's going to say.
Go ahead.
We went over this at the administrative team, and we've talked about this.
Okay.
At the next school board meeting on October 14th, or when it is, we are going to review the school budgets for next year for Bob in buildings and grounds, the SAU, and transportation. The second board meeting, so let me repeat. The next board meeting, and the material will come to you a week beforehand, and Bob is on. Tim was excused for tonight. Bob, am I correct? You're going to be set for that?
Yes, I will. Nathan and I talked about that today.
Exactly. So Bob and Tim and the SAU. Then the next board meeting, we excused Rob Qua after his report, but Rob Qua will be ready with special ed. John and Jan and Jen are on. You three are going to be ready. Am I correct? Jan and John?
Yes.
Yes. So they will be set. So the second meeting in October will be all three of them. Then the board meeting in November, the first one, Nate will go over the default budget, and the board will bring back any final questions and look at tweaking the whole school budget based upon all those presentations. And then we will be prepared after November to meet with the budget committee. So despite the unbelievable times and unbelievable time being spent on everything else, the administrative team concurs that they can meet these dates. Am I correct? And we're planning for next year to fully return. It isn't based upon the life that we lead for this year. Am I correct on everything I said, John and Jan?
Yes.
Do you folks have anything else to add?
Nope. Oh, Peg does.
That'll be October 14th, October 28th, and November 11th.
Correct.
November 11th is Veterans Day, so I don't think that's the date of the November meeting. I think it's the 18th.
So we're gonna have to change it.
There's only one meeting in November, I think. I thought it was the 18th.
Yeah, you're right. The 25th.
But that's, is that Thanksgiving though?
That's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I
We
think
got
we
a
made
problem.
it in the middle.
Yeah,
Change it?
yeah, I do too.
We'll have to change it. Okay, all right. Okay, now we know we're gonna deal with that later. Peg, I see you. Go ahead. Thank
You
you. for
sure?
raising
Okay.
that.
One of the things being on the budget committee, and Doug, you were at the town presentation. They are looking for an operating budget proposal that is less than our default budget or the towns and the school district's default budget, so that we don't have to keep going back and falling to a default budget, because townspeople are going to vote on whichever budget is less. So I just want people to keep that in mind as they're doing their budgets. I mean, I don't know, Nate, one of the things that was very helpful, at least to me, was that we had the default budget to look at. So, you know, let's just say Bob's default budget was, I don't know, $450, and his proposed budget came in at $448.
Well, we gotta realize, and I want people to realize, at the school, I don't think we've seen pay raises for 2 years. Is that not correct? All right. And after what they've done this year, and they're being talked about across the whole state. I'm just gonna
Well,
put that out there.
Yeah, the town
We're
did,
gonna start losing some real good people.
I know. The town did give different people, department heads, increases over the last 2 years. And what happened is, because they're still on a default budget, you know, somebody was back in 2018 throwing numbers out there, maybe making $40,000. And right now they're making $45,000. So the percent increase is far higher than it really should be, because it's, you know, like 3 years later. So no, I agree with you, Doug, that we do need.
And I saw some of those increases for the department heads at the town. And I hope I can get a breakdown so I can understand them, because they were high.
Yeah, because that was because
I know.
everything was based on 2018,
Yeah.
and they've had increases, and they're proposing another increase. So
Aren't they doing it through the merit program?
yeah,
See, we don't have a merit program.
well, they don't have one that's implemented anywhere. It's just, I think you're doing a good job, so therefore I'm going to give you a raise. And they take it from somewhere else. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for the budgets, which means I don't have to do number 6.
Well, no, we gotta do number 5 first.
Well, I know, but I don't have to say anything in number 6. I can be quiet then.
Okay, we all set? Moving on? We'll go to old business, facilities up. Oh, Nate, you can talk now?
Nope.
Nate, you should sign out and sign back in if you want to talk. Try that.
You can't, I don't think he can hear you.
No, you can hear me, I guess.
We just can't hear
Look,
him.
he did what I said, so.
No, that's good. All right. Okay, can we move on to Bob then? Bob Adams?
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead, Bob.
All right. The air handler installation for the physical piece of equipment will start, or is rescheduled out till October 23rd. Part of what ended up delaying that was the longer lead time on the steel that we needed to be able to cut the holes in the foundation. So backing into that, the holes in the foundation will be cut this Friday, Steel will be installed the following Friday, and then actually rescheduling the riggers to get the air handler equipment into the building is Friday the 23rd. And then that will start a multi-day install and of actually putting the equipment together and doing all of the ductwork downstairs and tying that all in. So that's a little bit of delay over what we were hoping for. Originally, worst case, we were hoping for October 9th as a worst case. So that's an update on where we're at on the air handler.
October
Questions
9th?
on that? What,
What was the install for the air handler?
it'll start on the 23rd of October.
For the unit itself?
Yeah, for the unit itself. And it'll come in 5 pieces, so it's got to be put together, like I said, and then all the ductwork done in the basement.
Have we repaired the crack?
The crack on the in and outside was done yesterday.
That was the extra money then we signed.
Yeah, that was, right, that was part, a little bit of the extra. Yep.
Yeah, we did have another job that needed to be done that
Yeah.
I haven't reported on yet, but that was the night. Yeah, I sent the message to all the employees, the school board members. Do you have anything else, Bob?
Any other questions on the air handler? No.
Nope.
Okay. The iWave units for the existing air handlers, including the 2 furnaces that we have, 1 each for the kindergarten units, will start on Friday. So that could be spread over like Friday, Monday, or Wednesday. It all depends on when I can get into the spaces and actually get the work done, but we will start it on Friday.
What was the second thing besides the kindergarten? I'm sorry.
The other air handle is that it would be at the middle school, plus the new library.
New library furnace.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Do you have anything else, Bob?
I do. We had ordered in HEPA units for classroom spaces that didn't have any air handlers in it. And those were delayed by suppliers to the company building up the units. And so anyway, I do have an update on that they're expected to ship by the end of this week. So then they're shipping out of Florida to us. So I think it'll be at least a week out before those will come in. And those will be things that myself and my team can install in the individual classrooms.
Did you get that, Tammy? Okay. Now I know we want to. Those I know you got a lot. I know you have a lot on your plate, but how are we working out with the I-beams for the softball field?
They're still like hanging around collecting dust, and Pat's one of the town barns right now.
Do they still need to be painted?
They do need to be painted.
Okay. Maybe how many are there? 2 or 1?
2.
Is it by brush or spray?
It'd be roll on and brush combo.
Maybe I'll see if I can help you.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a
Thanks.
question. I have a question on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, and maybe Jan can chime in on this as well. Is the community service thing still going on? Could a student paint those?
Yeah.
Yes, our seniors and all of our high school students still need to get community service.
So maybe we should put that out there. We need a couple of posts painted for the girls softball field.
Yeah.
Someone can step up and do that, and we can get that done and get 2 done at once. You know what I mean?
Good idea, Paul. Thank you. Can we try that, Jan? Not all. See if I can help. Get it
You
done.
can help the kids, but Don.
I'm not a good supervisor.
Oh, I was just gonna say you could supervise.
I have the paint all over them. Okay, Bob, you still got it.
Okay. And then the fire alarm documentation should be sent back to the state, answering all the questions by the end of this week. So then it'll be back in the state's lap, percolating along a little bit. So hopefully this is the last iteration to get the design approved.
Yes, Peg.
You heard my sigh that far away.
Nothing
did.
wrong with my hearing. Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Well, I was
think
just
that's
gonna
it.
ask-
Any questions on that?
Go ahead, Peg.
What are the questions that the state had? I mean, you guys have sent, what is this iteration, 45 or 65 or?
Well, yeah, when you look at a 2D drawing, I'll just say one specific example. The state was concerned about where a smoke detector was located and the ramp that goes from the first floor of the elementary down to the kindergarten. And on the drawing, it wasn't obvious to them that it was actually only a half wall versus a wall that went to the ceiling. So
Okay.
then they pick up on things like that and they're questioning if that smoke's in the right place, obviously, to catch the smoke that might happen. So it's those kinds of things. And then they might pick up on something that got missed on if you look at the decibel level on an alarm that goes off, a horn strobe that went off, it has to be certain decibels of sound for the space that it's in. You know, so there might have been one miss on something like that that they pick up, and so you correct that as well.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything else, Bob?
I think that's it, unless there's a question there.
Any other board members have any questions for him? Okay, moving on.
Quick question,
Oh,
Doug. Well, not for Bob, but I don't know if I mentioned the last meeting about we got the questionnaire, if we were going to present anything for the delegates assembly. I think I remember mentioning it, but I'm not 100%
you
sure.
did.
Okay, if anybody has anything, and I don't know if Kathy wants to put me in for that again this year, so
Okay. Well,
make sure, because I think it has to be in by the end of, I think they look for the attendance roster done by like the middle of October for the January meeting, so.
okay.
I'll call her when we get off with this.
Well, it doesn't have to be tonight, but I mean, just as long as she knows, I can't wait to go again, so.
Lunchtime.
Is there anybody else? Anything else? I'm gonna,
Do we
Any
go back to
committee-
Nate?
what's that?
Do we go back to Nate? Can you talk, Nate?
Yeah,
Oh,
And
okay.
that was totally planned too. I didn't want to talk, so.
Any committee reports other than Peg? Already done?
Already
Nope.
done. If I could just follow up with what Paul said, though. Remember I said that I was going to do the webinar for budgeting during COVID, the
Yeah.
school board association. I signed up for tomorrow night, and after the webinar started on Monday, I checked my email, and it was, oh, your webinar is starting in, like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So anyway, I checked it out, and they canceled tomorrow night, but they never bothered to let me know that I was now registered for Monday night. So they sent me all of the stuff. I have to say I've not had a chance to really look at it, but I will, and then I will forward it to everybody to review.
I know, Peg, you don't have anything to do, so.
I never have anything to do.
I know that. Okay. Anybody else?
Nate,
Nate, you back,
Yes.
Nate?
Make sure that you send me that stuff too. I'd be curious to read it.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Jan, you want?
I would love to get it
send
too.
I'll send it to everybody. How's that? Bob, I'm going to send it to you too. Happy
think
I
reading.
can't
Bob.
wait.
No, Nate, do you need anything signed this week?
Yes, manifest.
oh, come on, Nate.
When? Friday?
Yeah, I'm also gonna have the MS-22 revision because of the new CBA. So I'm gonna need people to come in and sign that as well.
Is that
That's
need
the
to
one that
be
needs to
notarized?
be.
I'm hoping to have it done for Friday. All I need is the 3 signatures.
Okay.
The state website is having a little issue with it right now. I noticed it wasn't exactly right the way it came out, so Michelle Clark, who I love, is working on fixing that for me.
She's a nice lady. We met her.
Yeah, you did.
Let me know if you get in a jam. Obviously, I can't be there early, but if you can't get 3, then let me know. I can come late.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll get it done.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? We all set? All right, Steve, can you hear me? Steve, I need a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Now second.
What time is it? 7:05.
7:05.
Okay, Douglas, yes?
Yes.
Paul?
Yep.
Emily?
Aye.
Okay, and,
Adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
oh, that was Emily. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
You were
Oh,
falling
I'm
asleep.
gonna fall asleep. If I sit here any longer, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Okay, aye. Peg,
Bye.
Paul,
Aye.
Emily,
Aye.
thank you, everybody.